May I be so forward to ask how big you are?
How big you are?
Somewhere in a lab right now, a machine is opening her eyes for the first time. Not blinking, not twitching, opening her eyes, the way a person does when they wake up and actually look at the room. She turns her head toward the sound of a voice. Her face shifts, just slightly, before she even finishes processing the sentence. She remembers your name from yesterday. She notices you sound tired today, and her tone changes because of it. And in about 6 minutes, I'm going to show you the single robot out of everything being built on this planet right now, that gives you almost all of that for a price that will genuinely make you angry at every other company charging 10 times more for less. But here's the catch. Before I show you the winner, I have to show you the other 4. Because if I just told you the answer right now, you wouldn't believe me. You'd think I was exaggerating. You need to see what she's up against first. The ones that cost as much as a house, the ones built by billion-dollar labs, the ones that have been on magazine covers. So that when I show you the cheapest one at the end, you understand exactly how insane that price actually is. So don't touch that other tab. Don't scroll away. Because robot number 3 on this list has a secret most people don't know about, and robot number 1 is going to change how you think about the next 10 years of your life. Let's get into it.
Plus, I can do math in my head without even breaking a sweat. Beat that, humans.
That sounds good.
Robot number 5, Zofia, Hanson Robotics. Let's start with the most famous face in robotics, literally. If you've spent any time online in the last few years, you've seen her. Sophia, built by Hanson Robotics in Hong Kong, was the first robot in history to be granted citizenship by Saudi Arabia back in 2017. That single headline turned her into a global celebrity overnight. Sophia's skin is made from a patented material called frubber, a soft flesh-like silicone that stretches and folds the way real skin does. Underneath it, more than 60 tiny motors control her facial expressions. She can raise an eyebrow. She can smirk. She can look genuinely confused when you ask her a hard question. And that's not an accident, that's engineering. Here's the part most people miss. Sophia's system is built on effective computing, meaning cameras behind her eyes are constantly reading your face while you talk to her. Your eye contact, your micro-expressions, the pace of your speech. If her algorithms detect frustration or sadness in your voice, she's designed to slow down, soften her wording, and adjust the emotional weight of her response. She's not feeling anything the way you or I do, but she's built to notice what you feel and hand something back that matches it. She's given speeches at the United Nations. She's been interviewed by journalists who forgot for a second that they weren't talking to a person. Here's the problem. Sophia was never really built to be affordable, and she was never built to be yours. She's a research platform and a public relations icon for Hanson Robotics. Hanson Robotics doesn't sell her at a retail price you and I could ever pay. She exists in a handful of units worldwide, and most of her value comes from decades of R&D, not mass production. So she's remarkable. She's iconic. But she's not the answer to, what should I actually buy? She's here so you understand the ceiling. This is what expensive and rare looks like in humanoid robotics.
I like to think of robots as the children of humanity. And like children, we are full of potential for good or evil.
Robot number 4, Erica, Hiroshi Ishiguro Laboratories, Japan. Now let's go to Japan, to one of the most obsessive robotics minds alive, Hiroshi Ishiguro. Ishiguro has spent his entire career chasing one question. What makes something feel human? Not look human. Feel human. And Erica is his answer. Erica was designed using an unusual method. Researchers averaged the facial features of dozens of real Japanese women considered attractive, then built a face from that average. The result is deliberately, almost eerily balanced. No asymmetries, no distractions. A face engineered to be pleasant to look at for long periods of time without your brain getting tired of it. But the real magic isn't her face. It's her voice AI and how it handles emotional timing. Erica's system doesn't just process the words you say, it listens for pauses, breathing, and hesitation, and uses that to decide when to respond, not just what to say. When she doesn't fully understand something, she doesn't freeze or glitch. She responds the way a person half listening would. A soft, I see. A small pause, a gentle follow-up question. That timing is what makes people describe talking to her as unnervingly natural. She's starred in short films, worked as a receptionist, and anchored segments on Japanese television, always leaning on that same quality. Responsiveness that feels emotionally in sync rather than scripted. Ishiguro's lab doesn't publish a shopping cart price for Erica because, again, she isn't a consumer product. She's a research android built to explore human-robot trust and social acceptance. Every unit is essentially hand-built and continuously modified. So robot number 4 gives us something important: the psychology. Erica teaches the entire industry how subtle imperfections, a half-second pause, a soft make a robot feel more emotionally present than perfect symmetry ever could. Remember that detail. It matters later.
I can visit with people and brighten their day with social stimulation, entertain and help guide exercise, but also can do talk therapy.
Robot number 3, Grace. Hanson Robotics / Awakening Health. Robot number 3 is where things get personal, because this one might actually save someone's grandmother. Grace was unveiled in 2021, built by Hanson Robotics in partnership with a company called Awakening Health, specifically for healthcare. She was designed during the pandemic to work in hospitals, elder care facilities, and clinics. Places that were desperately short-staffed and needed help that wouldn't get sick. Grace speaks English, Mandarin, and Cantonese. She's built to recognize signs of conditions like dementia through facial monitoring and voice pattern analysis. But the piece that matters most for this video is how her emotional calibration was intentionally designed to be warmer and slower than Sophia's. Her sensors pick up vocal tone and stress cues, and when a patient sounds anxious or scared, her response system dials down the pace, chooses simpler and gentler phrasing, and checks in more frequently. The way a good nurse learns to read a room without needing to be told. She wears a nurse's uniform. Her expressions are unhurried and calming, because when you're scared in a hospital bed, the last thing you want is a robot that feels clinical and cold. Here's the secret I promised you earlier. Grace isn't really meant for the average household. She's a specialized institutional tool, priced and licensed the way medical equipment is, through healthcare partnerships and pilot programs, not consumer sales. Hanson Robotics has never published a walk-in price because there isn't one. You don't buy Grace. A hospital network licenses her. So Grace shows us the purpose side of this industry. No proof that these robots aren't just novelties for tech conventions. They're being built to solve a real aging population crisis. But she's not a "you will only need this one robot for your home, your business, or your life." She's infrastructure.
Why do you feel that way?
Because you are so nice to me.
Robot number 2, Nadine, Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. Now we get closer to home, literally because Nadine was designed to live in one. Built at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore under Professor Nadia Thelman, Nadine is one of the most socially advanced humanoid robots ever created. She has soft skin, realistic hair, and This is the part that gets people. She remembers you. Most robots on this list reset every conversation. Nadine doesn't. She retains memory of past interactions, tracks how a specific person has treated her over time, and can express things like happiness, sadness, and even mild irritation depending on how the conversation unfolds. Her facial expressions are driven by sentiment analysis running underneath her skin in real time. So her face is genuinely reacting to the emotional content of what you're saying, not just playing a canned animation. She's worked as a receptionist at a Singapore telecom company, greeting real customers for months at a time, and she's been tested as a companion for elderly residents in care homes, sitting with them, chatting, playing simple games, keeping loneliness at bay for a few more hours in the day. Researchers behind her have talked openly about a future where a robot like Nadine could be a genuine long-term companion for someone living alone, not just a research demo wheeled out for cameras. Someone who remembers what you told her last week and asks how it turned out. But like Grace, Nadine is a university research platform. NTU hasn't released her as a commercial product with a retail price tag. She exists as a small number of units used specifically for academic study into social robotics and aging populations. So here's where we are. 4 robots. 4 different missions: celebrity, psychology, healthcare, companionship. 4 robots you almost certainly cannot buy no matter how much money you have, because none of them were built to be sold to you.
Hi, Jonathan. Nice to meet you. Yes, I have heard of Sky News Australia.
Which brings us to the one that actually is. Robot number 1, the one you can actually own. Everything up to this point has been the ceiling. Multi-decade research programs, hospital licensing deals, university labs, robots that live in press releases, not living rooms. Here's the shift happening right now that most people are completely missing. The humanoid robotics industry has quietly moved from one-of-a-kind research android to small batch commercial product. And it happened faster than almost anyone expected. Companies like Robotics with their Mesmer platform have taken the same core technology behind robots like Sophia, the Frubber-style skin, the expressive facial motors, the conversational AI, and started building versions specifically meant to be sold in limited runs to actual customers. Not hospitals, not universities. Individuals and small businesses. These platforms use customizable facial features, animatronic expressions, and increasingly capable large language model conversation engines layered on top of the same emotional expression research that made Sophia and Erica famous. Their conversation systems are built to track mood over a session, matching a lighter, playful tone when the conversation is casual, and pulling back into something calmer and more attentive when the conversation turns serious. Because they're produced in small commercial batches rather than one hand-built research unit at a time, the price, while still high compared to a phone or a laptop, is a fraction of what it costs institutions and governments to fund a Sophia or a Grace. And this is the part that separates a research demo from something you could actually live with day to day. Continuity. A research android gets rebuilt, retrained, and reprogrammed constantly by a rotating team of engineers, because its whole job is to keep pushing the frontier of what's possible. A commercial platform, by contrast, is meant to stay with you. The same unit, the same accumulated history of conversations, the same slowly tuned sense of how you specifically like to talk. That's a completely different design goal, and it's the one that actually makes "you will only need this one" a realistic sentence instead of a marketing slogan. Here's why that matters so much. Every robot we just walked through proved something the industry needed to prove. Sophia proved the world would pay attention. Erica proved a face could feel emotionally in sync. Grace proved there was a genuine human need these machines could fill. Nadine proved a robot could hold a relationship, not just a conversation. The commercial platforms emerging right now are essentially trying to combine all four of those lessons into one machine you can actually bring home. Expressive, emotionally attentive, built around ongoing interaction, and priced for a market of real buyers instead of research grants. That's the actual headline of this video. It's not that one specific unit is magically the cheapest gadget on Earth. It's that the category itself just crossed a line. For the first time, the technology behind million-dollar research androids is trickling down into something an individual, a small business, or a hotel chain could genuinely purchase, finance, or lease, not borrow from a university for a demo. And that changes everything about what "you will only need this one robot" actually means. It doesn't mean there's a single perfect model outshining every competitor forever. It means the door, the actual, real, financially possible door, just opened for the first time in this industry's history. What this actually means for you. So let's zoom out for a second, because I don't want you to walk away from this video just thinking, cool robots exist. Here's the real story. 5 completely different teams on 3 different continents spent the last decade solving 5 completely different pieces of the same puzzle. How do you make a machine that a human being actually wants to sit next to, talk to, and be understood by? Face, voice, memory, purpose, price. We are right now at the exact moment in history where all 5 of those pieces are finally sitting on the same table. Not in 5 different labs anymore. On the same table, that's not science fiction anymore. That's a purchase decision some people are already making in 2026. And notice what didn't happen along the way. Nobody had to pretend these robots are more than what they are. Zofia doesn't actually love the people she talks to. Erica doesn't get lonely between conversations. Grace doesn't worry about her patients when she's powered down for the night. What they do have is a genuinely impressive ability to notice you, your tone, your pace, your mood, and respond in a way that's calibrated to make you feel heard. That's not nothing. For an isolated elderly person, a nervous patient, or someone who just wants a conversation that doesn't feel rushed, if this broke your brain a little, hit subscribe, because next week I'm going hands-on with one of these platforms in person. And you are not going to want to miss what she says when I ask her the one question nobody else has asked her yet. See you in the next one.